Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sales Showdown, brought to you by Supermove. We're back today with two former moving sales pros going head to head across four important sales strategies. We covered objection handling and we covered follow up. Now we're covering upselling in our third battle. Before we start, let's hear from our contestants. Ryan, James, what is upselling to you?
Hey, George, well, upselling, obviously keeping it pretty basic and standard. Upselling is a sales strategy that motivates customers to opt in for a more premium version of your product or service that you have to offer. This approach aims to typically elevate the customer's experience, increase the average order value, drive higher revenue for and drive higher revenue for the business. So providing value and trying to solve the customer's pain points should and could lead to many upsell opportunities.
Yeah, upselling, offering clients additional services. This include packing, unpacking, storage, decluttering, cleaning, whatever really they need to get done. Anything dependent on what could help the client. And Ryan and I have talked about this in detail, but we both agree it should be up value, not upsell. So I always like 2 to 3 variations of the quote, bare bones to full service.
I love that. Upvaluing versus upselling. Now, how do you get into upselling? How would you first approach that with the customer? Let's hop into it in round one. Ryan, take it away.
Well, first, George, I want to echo what James says. I absolutely hate the word upselling. We should be upvaluing our services based on the customer's needs and right out of the gate, right? So this is made easy when you dive into the customer's why. Why is the customer moving? What challenges are they facing based on, if they are excited to move or are they not so happy about moving? I know my competitors were just out there trying to book a move or an appointment. That's it. They did not dig in and ask the questions that allow customers to upvalue themselves on services that in reality they didn't know they needed or even available, but ultimately truly needed. I can tell you I did. If you dive into why the customer is moving and they mention that they are downsizing, why not bring up your storage solutions, right? If they're on a tight timeline, and you know the home is super, super clean and what have you, you can ask them if they would like or need any origin or destination cleaning services, right? So when you ask them if they've ever moved professionally before and they say yes, followed by many items were broken on the last move and the moving company didn't this and didn't that or what have you, bingo. You better believe I'm putting valuation coverage in that quote and also explaining what and how things are covered. This all kind of ties back into our previous segment where, providing options to the customer, right? You need a consistent sales process in place that allows you to ask the right questions based on the customer's responses to really tailor a move program that suits them and their needs. Upvaluing is super easy when the customer is giving options based on their personal moving situation. So to me, it boils down to asking great questions and absolutely listening to their needs. What are your thoughts on this, James?
Completely agree. Upselling or providing up value pretty much starts with understanding the client's situation and what their needs are. So during that initial call, ask questions about their move. Can you tell me a bit about why you're moving, what your biggest concerns are? We get a lot of different reasons, but a lot of times, Ryan, we hear last move was horrible and it's a horror story, or they've heard horror stories. I'd always like to ask, so are you excited, stressed, or a little bit of both? That would really open them up a lot and would usually lean towards a little bit of both situation. But that also gives the client to actually explain the chance why and listen for stress points. If they mention the fragile items in their curio cabinet, talk about professional packing. If it's the curio cabinet itself that they really treasure, tell them how you're going to pack the glass shelves, how you're going to take extra care of it. If they tell you they're running around trying to get everything done, be upfront. Tell them that time sounds like it's going to be an issue. And luckily, you have great packers that can knock it out all in a day or two, where it would take them weeks, if not months. Talk about how you offer evaluation and the benefits of that over the 60 cents per pound, and really focus on drawing a picture for them of what the days up to their move is going to look like and what the days after their move will look like. Should we come back and pick up trashed packing material? Did they change their mind about certain items and want to haul it off? Really just kind of pinpoint and listen to your client.
There you have it, folks. That's the end of round one. How to approach an upsell. By understanding your customers' motivations for moving and the challenges they face, you can position upsells to actually add value and create a better customer experience. Next up, we have round 2. Handling resistance. Let's hear how you break this one down, James.
Yeah, when you get resistance, you need to make sure you understand their concerns and can really show the value of your services. I feel like I've said this in almost every category, but empathy, show them that you understand their hesitation and ask for specific concerns about the added cost. Are they really money tight, or do they think they can just knock out packing in a day or two? Two totally different reasons that need two totally different answers. But they both come down to highlighting the value. So, more time, less stress, better move, give every added benefit for the service. Try out like John, our professional packers will save you a lot of time, but it's also the best way to protect your items. I used to push for full packs on every move, but especially long distance. And if the client has never moved long distance before, you pack differently, and clients might not have any experience with that at all. You also want to break down the cost even more if you haven't already. So go line by line. If they can't afford a full pack, push for a partial pack. Focus on certain items that are difficult to pack, specialized material, very fragile, very sentimental, and make sure you can offer flexible options to give you more of a chance to upsell. So, offer to include it now so they don't have to worry about it. But when they get closer to the move, it's not needed. They can just take it off. And 90% of the time, they're going to think, well, okay, I'll definitely get it all done, but just in case. And then Ryan, what happens with that?
I hate to say it, man, but they just don't get it done, right? At least from what I've experienced over the last 10 plus years of being in seat here, everyone thinks they can get it done. So, no, don't get me wrong, some do, but they also don't understand how much packing is in their house. Oftentimes customers feel like, oh, I've got 50, 60 boxes, and you're looking at your survey and you're at 186, and you're like, no, this is what you have. And they just don't comprehend basically how much work goes behind it. But yeah, no, I love what you're hammering home here.
Yeah, exactly. They never know because it's, they're not thinking about it. We're thinking about it daily. We're figuring it out daily. Another really cool thing to have is get a video recorded of like your best packers just taking down a kitchen, show them that speed, that skill, and of course, make sure they're being careful. But when a client actually sees how much faster the packers are, that can speak louder than anything you can say on the call.
No, James, you're absolutely spot on just everything you said here, man. It's another battle. It's going to be a tough one here, but handling customer resistance during an upsell requires a blend of empathy, as you said, product knowledge, and a little bit of strategic communication as well. So, here are three things that I don't want to say three things, but three effective approaches that I took to assist with that. One, and first and foremost, was understanding the customer needs, right? So we need to become better listeners and carefully listen to the customer's needs and concerns. Tailor your upsell to address their specific moving requirements and demonstrate to these folks how the upgraded service will benefit them, but also and their family. I would say not just them, but include the family as well. And highlight value and not cost. This is a big one, right? Explain how the different features or upgraded service can solve their pain points, problems, whatever you want to call it, more effectively, or even improve their overall experience significantly. And lastly, and I think this is the most important one to me, be transparent and honest. And I'm going to say it again. It's one thing to upsell, up value, but we just don't want to sell services that a customer potentially doesn't need, right? So be transparent and be honest. Clearly explain why you're recommending the upsell and ensure that your intentions are aligned with their best interests. As we all know, honesty builds trust and it makes customers more receptive to our suggestions.
And there you are, ladies and gentlemen. That ends round 2, handling resistance. Now, let's get ready for our third and final round. Training your sales team. Ryan, you've been in sales for 10 plus years. You've had sales coworkers come and go. What are some things that you focused on as these new guys got ramped up?
It boils down. Training your sales team to excel at upselling, it does involve a pretty comprehensive approach that combines product knowledge, which I'm going to call AKA knowing the services that you offer, obviously sales techniques, and continuous improvement, right? So the industry is always ever changing, and some of our services are as well. So I can tell you what worked well for us, was to keep it simple And this is how we did it in basically 3 simple steps. Is one, having thorough product knowledge. Is again back to AKA knowing the service that you offer. So ensure that each one of your sales reps, coordinators, or what have you has a true in-depth understanding of all the products and services, including features, benefits, and differences between various options or services that you offer. Regular training sessions and updates are absolutely essential and critical to this piece. Number two for me would be effective communication skills, right? I mean, we're a people business, but we've got to communicate, right? It's customer service. We've got to train your sales team to active listening, right? Empathetic communication and clear articulation of value propositions, right? We need to emphasize the importance of building rapport and trust with our customers. The greater the trust, the more appetite they have to buy. And lastly is we need to take a customer-centric approach. 100%. Super, super critical. We are a service-based industry, a people business, if you must, who happens to provide moving as a service. We need to teach your team or teach our team, your team, whoever's team, right, to focus on the customer's needs and how to upsell can generally, benefit them. Role-playing scenarios can help salespeople practice identifying customer pain points and matching them with the right solutions. And we all know, and I'm not a big fan of it either, but nobody likes role-playing. But honestly, if you do it and you practice it, it can absolutely become a game changer for you and your entire team.
Yeah, and if you know all these things that Ryan and I have been kind of talking about, but you're not actually training your salespeople, then there's really no point, right?
No
So
point.
you got to start off with onboarding, and we're going to go over playbooks tomorrow. But you need a detailed guide that covers everything you do, every service you offer, include benefits and values for each upsell option. And your reps need to know every opportunity that's actually available to upsell. And they need to confidently be able to explain it to the clients, right? And so you really want to focus on that specifically for upselling. And after you get that done, you want to train your salespeople on how to dig deep on their initial calls or their walkthroughs. If you go with that mindset, you're going to see specific client concerns and needs and teach them to be straight up. Literally ask the client, what are your biggest concerns? Have you thought about how you're going to handle packing? Like, you really don't have to be sneaky about it. Just ask them. When a client notices that you do ask all these questions, and it's a lot more questions than someone else they're talking to, you're already going to have a leg up on the competition.
And there you have it, folks. That is our third and final round, training your sales team. So know your product, effective communication, and know your customer are all essential things for making sure that your salespeople can get out there and close more leads. Having a strong and consistent training process is key so that your salespeople can know what they're selling, know how to sell it to your customer, and make sure that everyone is having a good experience. Thank you again for joining us on our third battle, and we're looking forward to seeing you next time when we go over our fourth and final battle playbooks. Stay tuned, and we're looking forward to chatting. Bye.